Kiara Rodrigues grew up in Far North Queensland and she now lives in Sydney. Over the past few months, she has released the singles High School Reunion and Message in a Bottle. She now has a powerful new single called Ain't Your Rehab. I'm very keen to talk to her about it. Hello, Kiara.
Hello, thanks so much for having me, So.
It's great to talk to you again and about this single. You've released three great singles. Ain't Your Rehab is, it's a very thought-provoking and thoughtful song. So I'd love to know what the inspiration was behind it.
Yeah, look, I have been fortunate enough to not have a tumultuous relationship for a very, very long time. I've been with my partner, James, for 10 or so years. But I started noticing this sort of pattern around people around me who are in relationships, so girlfriends or, even just things I'd see on TV or in movies. And there's this pattern of trying girls or women trying to fix the person that they're with. And I think we've all either known someone or gone through that ourselves, where we feel I can change this person or I can make them better, and maybe they're a bit troubled or got some rough edges, and we think we can fix that, and it's not often the case, and it often doesn't turn out very well. So this was kind of turning that concept on its head and going, actually, no, this is not good for me.
Mm-hmm. And it's great you did mention what's out there in the culture, because I was thinking that the message in TV shows, movies, books sometimes, particularly some books that are popular at the moment through Book Talk, is the struggle love kind of, yes, fix someone you're in a relationship with. So was it, obviously it was conscious on your part to oppose that line of thinking, but at the same time, because it's running counter to popular thinking, it's a bit of a risk.
Yeah, definitely is. It's a bit, a bit subversive, I would say. But I think the culture's sort of shifting, and I'm noticing, especially on TikTok as well, there's a lot of that sort of discourse about, actually it's not our job to fix the people we're in a relationship with. So yes, it's a little bit controversial, but at the same time, I think we as a culture are kind of are changing and shifting that mindset. But it is hard when, so many of the not the fairy tales, but the rom-coms and all of that kind of thing. It's like, yep, I can fix this bad boy and he's gonna change for me. And, even back with Grease, the movie, it was the same sort of thing. So I think, yeah, it is a bit challenging, but I hope that it sort of inspires people to sort of look inward and think about the relationships they may have. And, it may not be a romantic relationship. You can also have that with a family member or with a friend who you just try and fix them all the time, and it's just not working out.
Yeah. Are you ever conscious as a songwriter that your friends might see themselves in one of your songs and come to you and say, are you basing that on my life?
It is something I have to be conscious of. I try to keep it a bit not vague, but keep a bit broad. So I'm not name dropping by any means, but I definitely do have people in my life, whether it's friends or I'll play a gig, and especially with this song, actually, I've noticed when I play it live, someone always comes up to me and says, that's my story, or that's my friend's story, because it is so common.
Yeah, it must be really affirming though to have that feedback at a gig in particular, because for as an audience member, it's not necessarily easy to go up to an artist and chat to them. So I always think when people come up to an artist, it's because they do really want to say something. But yeah, for you, it must be, as I said, affirming to hear that, and also you must think, I'm on the right track with this. I have made the right decision.
Yeah, definitely, because I think especially within country music, at the end of the day, what we want, or what the goal is to write music and perform music that sort of resonates with our audience members. So it definitely is sort of that positive feedback is great, because it kind of helps me make sure that I'm on the right track. And still, as much as writing is such a personal thing, the best part is when you take something personal and you share it and someone else finds something personal in it itself. So it's a really great experience.
What sort of songs in the past have had the most audience feedback, do you think?
I think probably High School Reunion. I think that was one that everyone, especially after COVID, kind of felt that existential dread of, oh, I've not achieved anything. Or, even without COVID in the picture, it's, people dread their high school reunions. So I think that was definitely a song that people had that same sort of reaction to. And I'm hoping with this new track, Ain't Your Rehab, that it's the same sort of audience engagement as well.
Now, your producer for Ain't Your Rehab was Nash Chambers, and you've worked with him before. What's so good about Nash as a producer?
I think he's just very authentic. So I think there's lots of, um, stereotypes or there's sort of, the mold, I guess, in terms of country music and what a female country music artist sounds like. And I think Nash is really great because he's got that authenticity. He's over in Nashville, but he's still got that really down to earth kind of approach. And he doesn't try to make the track sound like someone else. He's really committed to making sure it still sounds like me. It still has my own unique sound. Because it's not cookie cutter. He just sort of sticks to what the song needs, and that's really great to work with. And he's very, very down to earth, which is lovely. As a producer, it's great to have that guidance, but still have that sort of equal sort of partnership in making the track. So it's been great.
The Nashville time zone is not exactly friendly for an artist in Sydney, though. So how do you make that work?
Yeah, look, it's when he's waking up, I'm going to bed, and vice versa. So it usually means we have a day of lag in between. So it's that makes it a bit tricky. But I think post COVID, it's been great because everyone's now working so remotely. Previously, I couldn't dream of having a record produced by a Nashville producer. And now it's so easy with, the power of technology and the way the world has shifted. So I'm very lucky and very fortunate to be working with Nash.
I'm sure he feels the same way about you, Kiara. You've had a range of moods, shall we say, over these past three singles, if we just look at the past three singles. So High School Reunion was an upbeat tune, although there were some twists to it lyrically. Message in a Bottle was more serious than that, and Ain't Your Rehab is different again. When you're choosing which songs to record, are you thinking of your bigger body of work? So you're wanting to present like a well-rounded picture of human experience?
Yeah, so this is all leading up to my new EP that's coming out, which is called Love and Lockdown. So that's coming out in November, and I'm very excited. But I did sort of want to have the theme. I had this collection of songs that I'm putting on this EP, and High School Reunion and Message in a Bottle are both on there. And I really wanted to encapsulate just that love and lockdown. And so it's like that existential crisis meets heartbreak meets, Ain't Your Rehab, which is a bit of a power anthem, and sort of, rising from the ashes of Message in a Bottle, if you will. So I think, I always think about that sort of broader picture when you're looking at the EP as a project. But it's still varied. So there's this common thread of quirky lyrics and twisty songs, but they're all a little bit different. So hopefully there's something for everyone.
So were all the songs on the EP written during lockdown or post-lockdown?
A bit of both, actually. I have to think about that. No, I think they were all kind of written during lockdown. Sydney, as you know, our lockdown was quite prolonged, so it's not that it was all made in a day or anything. But it was certainly most of these songs were written during that lockdown period or during the COVID 2020 to 2022, really. So it's kind of good because it's kind of like a little time capsule, and I'm sure 10 years from now we'll go, that was the experience we had during COVID, and those songs sort of reflect that.
Yeah. Do you feel as a songwriter that your experiences during lockdown did shift you permanently in a way, that you became more interested in documenting certain types of experiences that you may not have thought of if you hadn't gone through that?
Yeah, definitely. And I guess it just brought home the universal experience that we were all having. So it sort of just drove home, because we were all experiencing COVID in a very similar way. Obviously some people were affected in different ways, but we're all having this universal experience. So especially like looking back to High School Reunion, we're all having that same experience, like, oh my God, what are we doing with our lives? And I think those sort of times when you're all put into this weird sort of vacuum that was COVID, it kind of really shows how similar we are, even though we all have our differences. We're all we all experience heartbreak, we all experience love, we all experience what are we doing with our lives kind of thing. So I think it definitely did change me to think more about, I've always written for me, and I think it just sort of drove home that, the things I'm writing about, a lot of people do experience in the same way or a similar way.
Yeah. Did you find that the music you were listening to changed from that time?
Definitely. I think half of that was to do with TikTok. I downloaded TikTok during lockdown, as so many of us did. And my music tastes have definitely shifted. When I go back home to mum and dad's now and I'm driving, they're like, what is this music you're playing? So I think it's broadened, which is nice. So I've gotten into a lot of I guess female writers in general who are just a bit clever and quirky. So across genres, it's not really specific to country, but people like, I've always loved Casey Musgraves, but I've sort of expanded into the pop genre just in terms of what I'm listening to, not necessarily what I'm writing, but people like Peach PRC, Greta Ray, Maisie Peters, they're really clever lyricists. And I think that sort of shifted and I guess opened my eyes, because previously I was pretty much country, a lot of old school 80s, 90s kind of stuff. So this is kind of, broadened my horizons in what I listen to. And I guess that sort of does feed in a little bit into how I write as well. It's all part of the experience. So yes, it definitely has changed my music tastes over the years.
So this is actually the first time I've had a discussion about music discoverability on TikTok, because certainly I've come across some people, but I guess I'm not specifically looking for new music, but it sounds like you are definitely using it for discoverability. So is it just a case of scrolling until you hear a few bars that take you fancy, or are you more going off recommendations and then finding people on TikTok?
I think the TikTok algorithm is really interesting, and it's one of probably the best. When I say the best, I mean the smartest sort of algorithms on social media. So it really hones in into what you like and who you are as a person. Sometimes it knows you a bit better than you know yourself, and you go, "Oh, this was really targeted to me." So I guess just by the nature of who I am, I get a lot of these sort of female singers and songwriters on my page, so that's always good. And look, there's so much out there on TikTok. Everyone's trying to get their songs out there, but I think my For You page has just kind of customized itself to these really clever kind of lyricists, and they happen to all be women, which is lovely, and we love to see it. So it's definitely how I sort of discover my new music these days, which is different.
Yeah. I think I want your For You page, Kiara, although I'd have to work on my algorithm to get all of that, because I'm not you. I'm doing different things. So generally speaking, how do you feel that 2023 has been for you music-wise? You've been playing quite a few gigs. You've had some singles out. Has it been going the way you would hope?
I think it's been a crazy year. It's been, great to be working on some new music. Kicking off the year with Star Maker was also so much fun, and that sort of just set the tone for the year, and has sort of driven me to sort of work on this EP and keep chasing that next sort of goal. So for me, it's been a really busy year, but in a good way. I think when I get to the end of the year and reflect on all the crazy things that have happened, it's definitely been jam-packed. So Tamworth Country Music Festival, I've played festivals out in West Queensland, which has been great, gone 12 hours west of Brisbane to Thargomindah, and seen some really cool places, played up in Charters Towers. So it's been really, really fun, really jam-packed. And sometimes I think as an artist, we always feel, we're not doing enough. But I just know that come December, I will probably be singing a different tune and be going, quite happy with how the year's gone.
Yeah, in need of a rest, because you have some more to come. You are doing your EP launch show in November in Brisbane. Now, this is with Brianna Dinsdale as your support artist. Yes. So is Brianna an Academy connection or some other music connection?
So Brianna and I both came through up in the ranks. I guess I was maybe I was the generation before Brianna, I would say, which makes me feel old. But we both sort of went through the Redlands Modern Country Music Club in Brisbane, which is a really supportive country music club of young talent. And I was actually judging their country music talent quest that they were having. And that was the first time I saw Brianna. I think it was either Redlands or one of the country music talent quest, but she belonged to that club. And so, and I just always thought she was so talented. And I think she would have been about 11 or 12 at that point. So she was real little, but very, very talented. And it's been great to just see her grow into such a beautiful person and songwriter, and I'm just so stoked to have her open the show for me.
Now, the show is at the club. It's still a secret. And I think the only issue with that club appears to be that every artist I've seen who lists it has to then put a note saying that is actually the name of the venue.
Yeah, they've got two venues. Can you keep a secret? And the one that I'm going to be at is called It's Still a Secret. So this is the second venue they've opened up. And it is tricky going, actually, that's the name of the venue. Please don't wait for this random address. So yes, I'm very excited. It's known for its sort of music venue. It's had a lot of sort of different live performances. They have music there basically every week. So I'm very excited to bring my EP show there.
Back to your hometown of Brisbane. So this is called the Hometown EP launch. And then you'll be doing a Tamworth show 23rd of January at 11:30 a.m. at West's, which is a great venue. So that must be really exciting to have your own Tamworth show.
I am so excited. So I've previously, done the whole Tamworth rigmarole, sort of doing lots of gigs and that kind of thing I think since 2006. So to bring my own headline show to Tamworth Country Music Festival is just so special. It's such a special festival to me, and to be able to sort of, take it to that next level, and we're getting a band together as well. So it'll be a really fun time, and I'm just excited. I'm a bit nervous, but also very, very excited.
And while you're at Tamworth, because, for artists, it's not just a case of one show. There's often media to do. You're running around doing various things. Will you actually have some time to go and see some other acts?
I'm hoping so. There are just, Tamworth is absolutely endless with, who you can see. So I am hoping that I get a little bit of time to sort of go down Peel Street at least. That's always my favourite thing, and see the buskers. But I'm also hoping to catch some of my mates as well playing shows. So.
Well, yes, because as I mentioned, the Academy, because you did attend the Academy first as a very, very young person, you have some long-time Academy connections. So I imagine the festival's a bit of a reunion.
Yeah, definitely. And even from the Academy and from, just from everywhere, really, it's great. Tamworth is like that pilgrimage we all kind of take once a year. And it's so nice. It's, you don't see people maybe throughout the whole year, and then suddenly you see them again in Tamworth. And it's just a feeling that's sort of unmatched by anything else, really.
Now, looking ahead to 2024, I know it seems ridiculous to do that, but you do have gigs booked for next year, because I was looking at your gig listing and you have festivals already booked in. So does it feel a bit odd to think, oh, in May next year I'm playing this particular festival, or is it that's just the life of a working musician?
It always feels like it's ages away, and then before you know it, it's come around again. So I think we look to May now, but I know that I was looking at September this time last year and going, that's ages away, and it all comes around. But we all we plan forward, and I guess festivals book quite far in advance too. So I think it seems a long time away, but I'm sure May will be here before we know it.
Well, you'll have an EP to take to those festivals. In the meantime, we have the single Ain't Your Rehab, which is great. And as I said, there's a whole range of work going on, and I look forward to hearing whatever else you have in store on the EP. In the meantime, Kiara Rodrigues, it has been great to talk to you as ever.
Thank you so much for having me.